Welcome to the McCat Multimedia Series, a McCat analysis of Stanley Milgram's Obedience to Authority. How far are ordinary people willing to go when they are ordered to by people in authority? Stanley Milgram, an American social psychologist, sought to answer this question in his 1974 book, Obedience to Authority, and his findings were profoundly disturbing. Milgram was interested in understanding why Germans had committed war crimes during World War II. He planned his experiments in the early 1960s, at a time when trials of Nazi war criminals were in the news. One aim was to discover whether the reason many of the accused Germans gave to explain their actions, that they believed they had to follow orders, was credible. Milgram conducted a number of studies, but all involved a lab-coated experimenter telling a participant to administer increasingly painful electric shocks to test subjects whenever questions were answered incorrectly. The electric shocks were fake, and the people receiving them were actors, but the people administering the shocks were led to believe the situation was real. Milgram found that 2/3 of his participants were willing to inflict severe and even apparently lethal shocks when told to do so, even though they could hear the test subject screaming in agony in the next room. He suggested that this was because they acknowledged the authority of the experimenter in his scientist's lab coat, and believed that responsibility for administering the shocks rested not with them, but with the person giving the orders. Milgram noted that extreme levels of obedience are more prevalent in hierarchical organizations such as the military, but we may understand his thinking better if we reflect that much the same is true of many businesses. Take, for example, a restaurant kitchen. The head chef instructs his 3 deputies to put huge quantities of salt into a recipe. The sous chefs know that if they follow his orders, the food will be inedible. The chefs feel conflicted. On one hand, they should obey the head chef's authority, but on the other, their professional training tells them to resist the instruction. Disobedience comes at a significant cost. The sous chefs might anger the head chef and could even be fired. Milgram believed that people are more likely to obey orders than put themselves at risk. His experiments also suggest that when people recognize that their superiors have a moral right to be in positions of authority, they put their own morals and ideals to one side. A more detailed examination of his ideas can be found in the McCat analysis.